When it comes down to modifying cars, we all like to go watch the videos of people modifying crazy, weird cars. It's kind of like we enjoy looking at things that we probably wouldn't do ourselves, or supercars, like wide-body Lexuses and things like that. But we head into the garage, we find ourselves staring at a 1990 Mazda Miata, or maybe a 2005 G35, or maybe even a 350Z, because those are a slapping deal right now. And even though we could have something newer or fancier or nicer, we still find ourselves buying older cars because, well, you know, it's a good question, all right? It's one of those things that we just do. And when we look back and when your wife asks you why, you're just kind of like, yeah, not too sure about that one. I'm Alex, Alex.fi on Instagram, and today we're gonna be trying to answer the question of why in the good old green earth do we think it's a good idea to build old cars. And if you're just jumping into this channel for the first time, hello. Don't forget to subscribe so we can keep making banging videos like this. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to check us up over at fitmentindustries.com. I'm trying to remember. Oh, there's the breathing. And where you can just get about everything you could possibly want for your cold, teeny, tiny heart. And of course, if you're looking to finish your build because you're still at home and you haven't started on your build because you're procrastinating, you're gonna go out there and do that thing, all right? And if you wanna buy all your parts now without having to pay for it later, you can actually do that through 0% financing. Either way, when it comes down to building cars, we often find ourselves looking at old cars, especially now. Now, older cars is obviously a little bit subjective, but for the most part, I would argue that 90s are probably a bit aged now, which makes me feel incredibly old. Now, 90s Miatas, FBs and FCs, RX-7s, Camaros, Corvettes, Volkswagens, and even some of our older Supras pre-Mark IV, they've gotten insanely popular. You can't even go on Craigslist anymore to find any cool cars because they just don't exist. Now that may actually have to do with the fact that you have to pay $5 now to post on that, which is dumb. But people are still picking them up like hotcakes, and the question is why? You can jump into the fact that they are more affordable, which is probably the easiest reason to see why people build older cars. Generally speaking, most older cars are a little bit cheaper besides the golden boys out there like the Mark IV Supras or the GTRs and the 911s or the expensive bougie stuff over there, okay? Older cars have more junk parts in the salvage yards. They have more support from the community though, and have gone through the good old depreciation cycle, which is a lot like puberty. A lot of these reasons are what allow a lot of different enthusiasts to snag one of these cars without having to worry about breaking the bank, which when you're looking into a hobby, you never want your hobby to deplete your entire bank account. It would be preferred if it didn't. And when you think about it, when you don't have to worry about money as much when you're building a car, it makes the whole thing a hell of a lot more fun. Because if you've ever been stuck in a scenario where you've built your only car and then it's unreliable and you can't drive it, and then your girlfriend's looking at you like, you dumb idiot. You're like, yeah, but it looks cool. Not only that, but communities in the older car scene can become family for enthusiasts. You've seen it before with communities like Z Society or Miata groups or even air-cooled communities. These groups that have been around for years, if not decades longer than any newer car or new car generation, which is so much fun to be a part of. And if you have been a part of one, you know what I'm talking about, which is like, it's kind of like if you have a good friend that has the same car as you. That's an extremely awesome time because it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's probably like, you know how girls, when they have like matching outfits, they take all the selfie pictures and things like that. Like for dudes, it's like the same thing, you know? Hashtag slay. When you have a community you can share your car in, it's pretty similar to when people play sports together, or probably more realistic for like 90% of us right now, video games. Like, don't get me wrong, I love solo queuing as ADC, but dear God, does it pay off to duo up with somebody in ranked because it just makes the stuff not suck as much. Going through builds with other people and being able to ask questions, get feedback, and help is just way more fun and way more enjoyable than doing it all on your own. Newer cars generally don't have that much support or established community because, well, it's new, brother. That's just how she goes. Now, even with newer generations, it's still not the same thing because most people haven't dived into the platform yet and don't have the experience, knowledge, or just the community insight It's just not there. Now, if you're the Lewis and Clark of the car scene, you may not mind paving the way for others, but that adventure is usually expensive, requires shops to experiment with your brand new car, and you have to be okay with potentially blowing something up that only has 10,000 miles, and most of the time, you're doing it alone. And it's not a risk that everyone wants to take because see point number 1 about money. But have you noticed it's not just the price or the community as to why people do this? Because there are some cars that people are picking up that are a little bit more expensive that you could have gotten a new car for. But it's like most people actually just prefer to be around older cars and talk about them because they're just more obtainable. They're more real. They have more life to them. We talked about a GT3 RS one time and our community was like, whoa,
Bro.
okay, we just bought Pop-Tarts and frozen meatballs so I could get a K&N filter for my S2000. Why are you talking to me about a GT3 RS? And it's true. It's just there are certain cars that people just aren't that involved with because they would rather be involved with something that's more real to them. People, although they enjoy knowing a little bit about the new or the more expensive cars, I think truly prefer to talk about just cars, the communities, and the builds that are realistic to all of us, unless they have a buddy that they're close to that's building something nuts. And I think that's the reason for most of us and why we enjoy building old cars. And that's probably why we enjoy building cars the most, because it allows us to connect with others. It allows us to connect with the past, and it allows us to build something that we can do without the need of expensive shops or expensive parts or deep pockets, and just allows us to dive into the community with something that we want or that we're able to build. Building some of these older cars, it's like an empty canvas of sorts for you to more than likely mess up, okay? You're gonna mess it up. Like if you ever painted for your first time, you know how terrible you are. But hey, you know you'd still hang up that bad boy in the hallway to smile at as you get ready for work, which is exactly what building an old car is like. So what are you building right now? Obviously, since we're all kind of stuck at home, let us know in the comments section below and tell us how it's going. Is it going well or is it not going well? Because we love to see what's going on. And of course, if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension for your old car build or new one, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, where we literally have everything, including 0%, so you can get all your stuff now and pay for it later. Just saying. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Peace.